The geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle will function mainly as a delivery system of heavier satellites. But the Indian Space Research Organization hopes that it can one day carry a manned mission, the country's first, beyond Earth's atmosphere. Where do you think the error is? The geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle will function mainly as a delivery system of heavier satellites, but the Indian Space Research Organization hopes that it can one day carry a manned mission, the country's first, beyond Earth's atmosphere. So I have 3, 2, 1, no error. Okay, so let's look at this quickly. Okay, I want you to apply a little bit of logic. So this vehicle, the launch vehicle, GSLV, what is the, let me put it like this, okay, the purpose of GSLV, right, is to function as a delivery system for heavier satellites, right, and not of heavier satellites is incorrect, right. The purpose of GSLV is to function as a delivery system for the heavier satellites. Are you following? GSLV does not belong to the heavier satellites. No, why do you need of? Why do you need the possessive, the pronoun that expresses meaning of belongs to or possession? Incorrect, right? That's where the error is. The error is in part 2 where I change of to for. Got it? The geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle will function mainly as a delivery system for the heavier satellites, not of heavier satellites. But the Indian Space Research Organization hopes that it can one day carry a manned mission, the country's first, beyond Earth's atmosphere. More than one satellite. Noun number is fine. That doesn't change either the meaning or the grammar of the sentence, right? Are you following? So those of you, again, this is obviously an error pertaining to prepositions. Prepositional error, right? So subject verb agreement, preposition, what was the first one? Verb, tenses in fact. In paper factories, hundreds of employees only lose not their eyesight but also get physical problems because of sitting in one posture for a long time. So where do you think the error is? So this is an easy one. As soon as you read it, you should know where the error is, right? Yeah. Why? Because of not only but also. Yes. That's a very obvious error, right? This is to do with parallel construction. Whenever you have correlative conjunctions, right? What are correlative conjunctions? Either or, neither nor, not only but also, both, and. So what follows these two has to be the same. So if I'm saying, so the placement of not is incorrect basically. If I put not here, not only lose, it's a verb, but also get, again a verb, right? So what is following not only and but also is the verbs lose and get. So whatever has to follow these two has to be the same class, word class. If it's an adjective, then both should have adjectives. If it's a verb, then both should have verbs. If it's a noun, then both should have nouns. Right? That's the rule when it comes to correlative conjunctions, right? This is something that you need to know. So that's very obvious, error in part 2. Yeah. So in paper factories, hundreds of employees not only lose their eyesight, but also get physical problems because of sitting in one posture for a long time. Neurolinguistics has proved that people can possess self-confidence, that they can complete a specific task even though they may lack general self-confidence, or conversely be self-confident though they lack the self-worth to achieve a particular task. This is such a tricky one, all these long confusing sentences, but so it's between 1, 3 and no error. So let's look at it. So let's break this down, okay? Neurolinguistics has proved that people can possess self-confidence, that they can complete a specific task even though they may lack general self-confidence. Okay, understood. Or conversely means what? Or on the other hand, right? That's what it means here. Or on the other hand, they can be self-confident though they lack the self-worth to achieve a particular task. So even though they can't complete a particular task, they still feel confident. Now, where do you think the error is? Whether you have may or do not have may, it doesn't affect the sentence grammatically, no? May is just a probability. It brings in the meaning of probability. So, okay, in that context, yes, lack of is a collocation, but you don't need it in this context. Someone can lack something. In this context, they are lacking the self-worth. So, grammatically, it's correct. You can have a lack of something, no doubt about it, but you will also have constructions where it says this person lacks this without the of. That is also grammatically correct. Why have proved? Neurolinguistics is one singular entity, boss, right? Just for you to get an idea. What is neurolinguistics basically? It's the branch. It's a singular noun, right? It's a branch of linguistics that probably studies the relation between linguistics is language and neuro has to do with the nervous system. So probably it studies the relationship between language and the function of the nervous system, right? That's what it has to mean. So you don't have to change has to have because we're talking about that particular branch. So just to put you guys at rest, possess means what, guys, here? Contain, have, that's what the meaning is, right? So I know a lot of you are coming back and having your own versions of how it should be, but let me put to rest, there is no error in this question type, okay? You don't have to look for an error when there is no error. Sometimes these long sentences make you think that there has to be an error in some part. It doesn't have to be. The sentence is correct as it is. There is no error. Let's go back to the context. Neurolinguistics, which is one branch, singular noun, has proved that people can possess self-confidence, can have self-confidence, that they can complete a specific, what's their self-confidence? They feel that they can complete a specific task even though they may lack general self-confidence. There's a probability of them lacking general self-confidence, right? Or on the other hand, be self-confident though they lack the self-worth to achieve a particular task. So, no error, boss. Okay? So, all of you who are breaking your head to, what do I say, desperately find an error, I'm sorry, there is no error. They refers to the people here, right? All the days that are they. Shmriti, I am sure that all my monthly expenses would exceed the income if I do not economize. Okay? So, where is the error? Where do you think the error is? So, let's see. So, what do you think is wrong in part C? See, guys, it's basically a conditional statement. Do you realize? Let me rewrite the sentence. So, if I say, if I do not economize, I would exceed the income, right? And by that, all my monthly expenses would exceed the income, basically this whole sentence. Yeah? So, what's wrong with that? So, as per the conditional statement, this is which form? First form, second form, third form? Economize is in the present form, right? Which one is this? Quickly answer the questions. You should know this by heart, no, by now. This is simple present tense, right? So what should be? For me, it seems like this question has multiple errors. First, if I go by, proper grammar and if I apply the first conditional, ideally would should actually be will. But it does not change the meaning that the context is trying to give me. So basically, it should say, if I do not economize, I will exceed the income. I'm sure that all my monthly expenses will exceed the income. So, would should basically actually be will, right? If I have to apply grammar and say, boss, that's one part where I feel the error is, which is C. I don't know the reason for what other people said C, but this is my reason. And another thing you can also say, people can make an assumption in part B saying, my understanding is based on the responses that you guys are giving. Maybe you guys are thinking, all my monthly expenses. But it's all needed, ma'am. It doesn't matter, right, whether all is there or not. But if you apply a little bit of logic, when you're saying my monthly expense, you are making reference to something that is for the entire month, right? When I say this was my monthly expense, or these were my expenses. So it already means you're referring to something that the expenses that were made for the entire month. So yes, in that sense, all is a little superfluous in meaning. I don't need it actually. Okay, it's just a noun number. I can have one expense, I can have multiple expenses, right? So that's fine. Noun number wise, it doesn't change the meaning. So yes, again, for that matter, for this reason, I might also say B is an error. But for a question like this which has multiple errors, you know what I will do, right? I will skip it. But just for our understanding, we've applied the first condition here and we've said boss change would to will in part C. We've also identified something that is superfluous in meaning in part B, right? So yeah, so these are the errors that we can quickly identify in this context, but if this question appears in the exam, I will skip it. Or if I am overlooking the error in B and C, I will obviously say no error. Or if I only identify one part that has an error, it will either be B or C, right?